Candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago, at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seems to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family, in 1,000 generations, to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania and who come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground, and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much.
I feel fun.
Kind of felt good, didn't it?
Is this real life?
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much, because, as you point out, what's behind the words, what's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
That's a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating. These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
The voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
Terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead. We'll be right back.
We are in the center of Kiev. We are...
Is this real life?
Yes, Timmy. This is real life.
As we do other diseases. Because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard. Here are 4 common sense steps.
I don't leave this video, but just letting everybody know that you really have no idea what you're up against. These people aren't like us. They're trying to get digital currency. You're already under economic terrorism. You've been under economic terrorism for over hundreds of years or more, ever since the Federal Reserve was introduced and gold and silver has gone off the market, and taxations on your wages, your working wages. It's not constitutional, and it's immoral, and it's evil. That's besides the point. When they do this digital currency thing, everybody's going to think it's a great idea, but you saw what happened in Canada. They shut these people's bank accounts off, and they arrested these people, and they did fucking horrible shit just for them protesting. If that happens worldwide, where they can control your currency, you stand no chance against them. They will turn your money off. You'll be homeless. They control everything. The only way we can actually get this all sorted out and get this fixed is that we have to have a complete work stoppage in America, every job, and all these people have to be held accountable for war crimes and treason and high crimes against humanity. We need term limits in Congress and in the Senate. We need age limits, and we need laws against lobbyists and politicians that take their money. Also, we need Medicare for all, and we need decent working wages, and we need taxation taken off the working people, and we also need to know that our borders and everything will be secure, but people should be able to come and go as they please, as long as they can provide some kind of identification coming across the border so we know what's going on. But that's something else to look into. I also have a conflict with that because I think people should go and come as freely as they will, and if somebody was to commit a crime in that country, then you just prosecute them when you catch them or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, that's not what the main purpose of this is, that we are not being taken seriously, and nobody cares about us as a whole. We had no rights to begin with, and when this pandemic broke out, that proved that you had no rights. You assume that these people are like you, and they're not, and you assume you had rights, which we all did, which we don't. The only people that are happy in this country are these criminals living in a foreign country that's near our sovereign country, which is called D.C., District of Columbia. Washington is not officially a part of America. It is actually a sovereign country. A foreign country in a sovereign land. We are not part of that shit. That's nothing to do with us. That's a corporation, and they have violated our constitutional amendments, and they don't even care. And the only way that you can deal with this type of people is have a complete work strikeage and make these people accountable for their crimes. There is no reason for this. There's no reason for homelessness in this country. There's no reason for people not to be able to have proper jobs. There's no reason for people not to be able to have houses and have nice things just like everybody else. And it isn't because people aren't working hard enough. It is economical terrorism going on, and any proper president, the first day in office, would send the army to arrest the IRS immediately for economical terrorism. And all these people in Congress right now are war criminals. They allowed these wars to go on for years on end, and they didn't authorize any of the wars that Biden had put through, or even Trump or any of these presidents in the last 10 years. They dropped bombs without consent of Congress. You have to have a work stoppage. You can't go out in the streets. You can't protest this. You cannot petition evil. And this is as evil as it gets. They're evil. This is all about... I made a video with Jimmy Dore explaining why they're going over to Ukraine, which I was telling the same thing. but he broke it down and he shows you exactly what is going on. And people are up there holding Ukraine flags and not really realizing they're supporting neo-Nazis that are trying to genocide a particular race, ethnic group because of their beliefs. So you don't really know what's going on. You can't trust anything that's on TV. And for God's sakes, do your own investigations. And if you listen what I'm saying, if you have a work stoppage in this country until people like Nancy Pelosi are held accountable, and that Maxine Waters and these other fucking criminals that are standing there behind this flag, these people are criminals at the highest level that we've ever seen in our life. You just can't let this go down. I just showed you a video, and this video shows you what kind of liar this man is. It doesn't even look like the same guy, to be honest with you. And I know people age, but it doesn't look like him that often. You gotta look at I got it on this video, so when I post it, you'll see what I'm talking about. God bless everybody here. Please protect yourself and your family, and please do not participate in any of these fucking protests. It's a psyop. You're gonna wish you never did. And the only way to do this, and I'm telling you, we need to have term limits, age limits, and laws against lobbyists. And these people have to live in the areas that they represent. They have to represent their constituents, and that is the way it has to be. They can't live in D.C. and live in houses and apartments there and then having homes in the area that they're supposed to live in and represent. They're not there. They need to be in the neighborhoods, in the areas that they represent in Congress and the Senate. And then they go to the Senate and Congress a couple times a year, like I said, to make laws and to find out how everything else is running in the country, if they're having the same similar problems as other places. And that's what that's about. These people live in D.C. They have disassociated themselves from the United States of America. This is a corporate entity here, and every person, it's not no conspiracy, because everything that everybody says, oh, you're a conspiracy, I've been proven right. So it's not just me, it's millions of other people. You people are too stupid to understand how and what you are up against. You are naive little children with little children's minds. You don't understand what you are dealing with. And you want to go out there and scream and yell at these people, they're going to fucking laugh at you. What you do is you hit them in the pocket. When you don't work, you don't make them no money. That's how this works out. They're all about money. Haven't you figured that out yet? All of them. I don't care who the president is. I don't care what country it is. All about money. You have a complete work stoppage, they will listen to you. Your demands will be made, and it will be made immediately. Believe me when I tell you, you're not going to be out in the streets. You're going to be at home, staying there. And you're going to have somebody represent your thoughts and what you believe in and what you want done as a whole, as a country. These are criminals at the highest level, and they're plotting for atrocities against innocent people that have been being slaughtered for the last 8 years because of them, because of America. We interfered with their elections in 2014, and this caused one of the reasons why this is all going on in Ukraine, and this guy's responsible for it, and his family members are making hundreds of millions of dollars off of that Ukraine and that country. You need to know what you're dealing with. This guy is just a puppet. There's people pulling his strings, and there's people pulling the strings of him and everybody else. These aren't the people running the world here. This is bigger than all of them. Okay? There's much bigger things. They're not Masons, they're Jesuits. They're all signs in services or individual parts to a bigger machine. This is just so much bigger than people understand what they are dealing with. You really have to understand that you do not have no clue about what's going on with this situation here. I'm going to leave and just say this. If you go to these protests, I'm going to be making videos about being arrested, because I will be like, I told these people not to do this, and look at how many of these poor son of a bitches are being arrested, when all you had to do is just stop. That's all you have to do until your demands are met. This Nancy Pelosi should be arrested. Biden should be impeached and removed from office. Harris should be impeached and removed from office. These are criminals at the highest level. And she's clapping for it. And you need an age limit. Look at these people. How are any of these people representing any of the youth of America? How are the 25-year-old people and 30-year-old people being represented by these cronies? You're not being represented by nothing. You have no rights. Stop. Just stop. That's what you do. All these people should be put in prison under their own laws that we all agreed on.
Thank you for your service.
Wake up.